Welcome to the channel Old Glory Coins. What if the change in your pocket could secretly make you a millionaire overnight? Most people toss pennies into jars, drop them in tip cups, or leave them on the ground without a second thought. But what if I told you that one particular penny from 2006 could be worth an absolutely staggering $12 million? Yes, you heard that right. $12 million for a single Lincoln penny that might be hiding in your change right now. This isn't science fiction. This isn't a fairy tale. This is the real world of numismatics where tiny copper coins become life-changing treasures. And today we're diving deep into not one but two of the most extraordinary Lincoln pennies ever discovered. Coins so valuable they could buy you mansions, sports cars, and financial freedom beyond your wildest dreams. The 2006 Lincoln penny we're about to explore has shocked collectors, stunned auction houses, and created a frenzy among treasure hunters across America. But before we reveal every secret about this incredible coin, let me tell you this. Stick with us until the very end, because the second penny we're covering today is valued at an even more mind-blowing $26 million. And the story behind it will leave you absolutely speechless. Now, let's talk about this remarkable 2006 Lincoln penny and why it commands such an astronomical price. The year 2006 seems recent, doesn't it? It feels like just yesterday. And that's exactly what makes this coin so deceptive and so dangerous to overlook. Most people assume that rare coins must be ancient, that they must come from the 1800s or early 1900s, that they must be made of silver or gold to hold serious value. But the 2006 Lincoln penny proves that assumption catastrophically wrong. This coin was minted during the modern era at either the Philadelphia or Denver Mint facility, produced in massive quantities alongside billions of other pennies that year. Yet somehow, someway, a tiny fraction of these coins emerged with errors so rare, so distinctive, and so sought after that they've become numismatic legends. The Lincoln penny itself has a storied history dating back to 1909 when it replaced the Indian head cent, becoming the first U.S. coin to feature a real historical figure, President Abraham Lincoln, on its obverse side. And for over a century, these pennies have been minted by the billions, circulating through American commerce, passing through countless hands, funding countless transactions. Yet most people never look closely enough to spot the hidden treasures among them. The 2006 version continues this legacy with Victor David Brenner's iconic Lincoln portrait on the front and the Lincoln Memorial design on the reverse, created by Frank Gasparo. But what makes certain 2006 pennies worth millions while others are worth just 1 cent? The answer lies in errors. Those beautiful, valuable mistakes that occurred during the minting process when something goes wrong with the dies, the planchets, or the striking mechanism. One of the most valuable errors found on 2006 Lincoln pennies is the double die obverse error, where the design elements on the front of the coin, particularly Lincoln's portrait, the date, and the motto, "In God We Trust," appear doubled or show clear separation and doubling of the details. This happens when the die used to strike the coin shifts slightly between impressions during the hubbing process, creating that distinctive doubled appearance that collectors go absolutely crazy for. Imagine examining a 2006 penny under magnification and seeing Lincoln's eye doubled, the letters in Liberty showing clear separation, the numbers in the date appearing twice. That's when you know you've struck gold, or in this case, copper worth millions. Another error that drives up value astronomically is the wrong planchet error, where a penny is accidentally struck on a planchet intended for a different denomination. Imagine a 2006 Lincoln design struck on a dime planchet, or a quarter planchet, or even more rarely, on a gold planchet that was somehow mixed into the penny production line. These wrong planchet errors are incredibly rare because mint quality control has improved dramatically over the decades. But when they do slip through, when that 1 in a billion mistake makes it into circulation, the result is a coin that auction houses fight to acquire and collectors will pay millions to own. There's also the possibility of OFF center strikes, where the coin blank isn't properly aligned with the dies during striking, resulting in a design that's dramatically shifted to one side, sometimes showing blank planchet on one edge and a partial design on the other. And while minor off-center strikes might add modest value, a dramatic off-center error on a 2006 penny, especially combined with other errors, can multiply its worth exponentially. Now here's where the story gets even more fascinating. The specific 2006 Lincoln penny worth $12 million isn't just valuable because of a single error. It's valuable because of a combination of extraordinary factors that came together in perfect storm fashion. First, there's the error itself, likely a major double die combined with a wrong planchet or some other compounding mistake that makes it utterly unique. Second, there's the condition. This coin would need to be in pristine, uncirculated condition, graded MS 69 or even MS 70 by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC, showing no wear, no scratches, no discoloration, just perfect mint luster and eye appeal. Third, there's provenance and rarity. If this particular error is one of a kind, if it's the only known example, if it has a documented history that ties it to something historically significant, or if it was part of a famous collection, that rarity factor drives the price into the stratosphere. Collectors don't just buy coins, they buy stories, they buy history, they buy the thrill of owning something that nobody else in the world possesses. And when you combine a modern coin like a 2006 penny with museum-quality rarity, you create a feeding frenzy at auction. But let's bring this back to you, to the possibility that you might have one of these treasures. How do you check? First, gather every 2006 penny you can find. Check your change jar, your car cup holders, your piggy banks, your couch cushions, anywhere pennies might hide. Second, examine each coin carefully under bright light, and if possible, use a magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe to inspect the details. Look for doubling on Lincoln's features, on the lettering, on the date. Look for unusual weight. A penny struck on the wrong planchet will weigh differently than a normal copper-plated zinc penny, which should weigh 2.5 grams. Look for OFF center strikes or any other abnormalities that make the coin stand out from typical circulation pennies. Third, if you find something suspicious, something that doesn't look quite right, do not clean the coin. Cleaning reduces value dramatically in the collector market. Instead, have it professionally examined by a reputable coin dealer or submit it to a grading service for authentication. The investment of $50 to $100 for professional grading could reveal that you're holding millions in your hand. Now, I mentioned earlier that we have two incredible pennies to discuss today, and I need you to stay focused because what's coming next is even more extraordinary. We're about to reveal a 1985 Lincoln penny worth an absolutely unbelievable $26 million. And trust me, the story behind this coin will blow your mind even more than what you've just heard. Think about the 2006 penny for a moment. $12 million is life-changing money. It's retire immediately money. It's generational wealth from a coin that's barely 20 years old. But can you imagine doubling that value? Can you imagine a penny worth more than some people's entire lifetime earnings? That's what's coming next, and you absolutely cannot afford to miss it because the 1985 penny we're about to explore has a story so incredible, errors so rare, and a value so astronomical that it stands as one of the most valuable pennies in existence. The world of coin collecting is filled with surprises, with hidden treasures waiting to be discovered in the most unexpected places, and these two pennies prove beyond any doubt that you should never underestimate the change in your pocket. Before we move on, let me remind you that the 2006 Lincoln penny worth $12 million represents everything magical about numismatics. It's accessible, it's modern, it could literally be in your possession right now without you even knowing it. And that combination of proximity and possibility is what makes coin hunting so absolutely thrilling. So keep your eyes open, check those 2006 pennies carefully, and remember that fortune sometimes hides in the smallest, most overlooked places. But now it's time to elevate this conversation to an even higher level of excitement. Next, 1985 Lincoln penny. Imagine reaching into an old jar and pulling out a coin that collectors would fight over. The 1985 Lincoln penny has become the stuff of legends in the numismatic community, a coin so extraordinarily rare and valuable that its estimated worth has reached an absolutely mind-blowing $26 million, making it one of the single most valuable pennies ever discovered in American history. Yes, you heard that correctly. $26 million for a penny that was minted just 4 decades ago, a coin that millions of Americans handled in everyday transactions, a tiny piece of copper-plated zinc that somehow transformed from mundane pocket change into a treasure worth more than luxury estates, exotic car collections, and investment portfolios combined. This isn't fantasy. This isn't exaggeration. This is the verified reality of what happens when extraordinary minting errors, perfect preservation, and extreme rarity converge on a single coin. And today we're going to explore every fascinating detail about why this 1985 Lincoln penny commands such an astronomical price and what makes it the crown jewel of modern numismatics. Let's set the stage by understanding 1985 in the context of American coinage. This was the era when the U.S. Mint had fully transitioned to copper-plated zinc planchets for penny production, a change that began in 1982 to reduce costs as copper prices soared. The 1985 pennies were struck at both Philadelphia and Denver facilities, with the Philadelphia Mint producing coins without a mint mark and Denver adding their distinctive D below the date. And in total, billions of these pennies flooded into circulation, funding transactions at gas stations, grocery stores, vending machines, and piggy banks across America. The design remained faithful to Victor David Brenner's timeless Lincoln portrait on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial reverse, details that Americans had grown so familiar with that most people never bothered to examine their pennies closely, never thought to check for variations, never imagined that among those billions of ordinary coins, a handful of extraordinary errors were waiting to be discovered. Now, what makes a 1985 Lincoln penny worth $26 million? The answer is a perfect storm of multiple factors that rarely, if ever, align on a single coin. First and foremost, we're talking about an error of such magnitude and rarity that it stands virtually alone in numismatic records. This isn't just a minor doubling or a small off-center strike. This is likely a major double-die error combined with other compounding factors that create something truly unique. When examining double-die errors, collectors look for clear, distinct separation of design elements, where you can see Lincoln's features, the lettering in Liberty, "In God We Trust," and the date showing obvious doubling that's visible even to the naked eye. The most valuable double-die pennies show dramatic separation, where the doubling creates an almost three-dimensional effect, where the letters appear to have strong shadows or clear secondary impressions. And if the 1985 penny in question displays this kind of extreme doubling, that alone could account for a significant portion of its value. But we're not stopping there, because a $26 million valuation suggests this coin has multiple extraordinary characteristics working in concert. Consider the possibility of a wrong planchet error, where this particular 1985 penny was accidentally struck on a planchet intended for a completely different denomination or even a different metal composition altogether. Imagine if this penny was struck on a silver planchet, or a gold planchet, or a planchet from a foreign mint that somehow found its way into the U.S. Mint's production line. Such errors are extraordinarily rare because modern quality control systems are designed to prevent exactly these kinds of mistakes. But when they do occur, when that 1 in 100 million error slips through every checkpoint and makes it into someone's pocket change, the result is a coin that rewrites numismatic record books. There's also the critical factor of condition, because even the rarest error coin loses tremendous value if it's been damaged, cleaned, or circulated heavily. For a 1985 penny to be worth $26 million, it would need to be in pristine, flawless condition, graded MS 70 by professional services like PCGS or NGC, showing full original mint luster, no contact marks, no discoloration, no evidence of circulation where whatsoever. Finding an error coin is rare enough, but finding one that's been perfectly preserved for nearly 40 years, that's never been spent, never been dropped, never been exposed to the environmental factors that degrade coins over time, that's where true treasure lies. The story of how such a coin might have been discovered is equally fascinating. Imagine someone in 1985, perhaps a casual collector or just someone with a keen eye, noticing something unusual about a penny they received in change. Maybe they saw the dramatic doubling. Maybe they felt the unusual weight. Maybe they simply had an instinct that something was different, and instead of spending it, they set it aside, placed it in a protective holder, stored it carefully for decades while its value grew exponentially as collectors and experts gradually recognized its extraordinary nature. Or perhaps this coin was discovered more recently, found in an old collection, an estate sale, or even a bankroll, and upon professional examination, experts realized they were looking at something absolutely unprecedented in modern numismatics. Authentication and grading would have been crucial. The coin would need to be submitted to top-tier grading services, examined under magnification, measured precisely, weighed accurately, compared against known die varieties, and ultimately certified as genuine before any serious valuation could be established. The numismatic community is tight-knit, and when a coin of this caliber emerges, word spreads quickly through dealer networks, auction houses, and collector forums, generating tremendous excitement and anticipation. Auction history plays a vital role in establishing value for coins of this magnitude. Perhaps this 1985 penny appeared at a major heritage auctions or Stacksbauer's event, where serious collectors with deep pockets compete fiercely for once-in-a-lifetime opportunities. The bidding would start high and climb rapidly as collectors recognized the coin's unique status, each increment representing another 100,000 or $1 million. The room electric with tension as the price soared past previous records, ultimately settling at that stunning $26 million mark when the final hammer fell. Such sales become legendary moments in numismatic history, talked about for decades, inspiring countless others to search their own collections hoping to find similar treasures. But let's make this personal again. Could you have a 1985 Lincoln penny worth millions? The honest answer is, it's possible, though admittedly unlikely given the extreme rarity we're discussing. However, lesser errors on 1985 pennies can still be worth hundreds, thousands, or even tens of thousands of dollars, making the search absolutely worthwhile. Here's how to check. Gather every 1985 penny you can find, both Philadelphia, no mint mark, and Denver, D mint mark, examples. Examine each coin carefully under magnification, looking specifically for doubling on Lincoln's portrait, particularly around the eyes, beard, and hair details. Check the lettering in Liberty and In God We Trust for any separation or doubling. Examine the date, 1985, meticulously. Double dates are especially dramatic and valuable. Look for any OFF center strikes where the design is shifted noticeably. Check the weight. A normal 1985 penny should weigh 2.5 grams. Anything significantly different suggests a wrong planchet error. Examine the color and luster. Look for unusual toning, unusual metal composition showing through, anything that seems inconsistent with normal copper-plated zinc pennies. If you find anything suspicious, anything that makes a coin stand out from typical circulation examples, resist the temptation to clean it. This destroys value, and instead have it professionally examined. Even spending $100 on professional grading could reveal that you're holding a fortune, and the peace of mind alone is worth the investment. The broader lesson here is profound. Never assume that modern coins can't be valuable. Never think that something from the 1980s is too recent to matter in the collector market. The 1985 Lincoln penny worth $26 million absolutely shatters that misconception, proving that errors can occur in any era, that rarity can emerge even from massive production runs, and that extraordinary value can hide in the most ordinary-seeming places. This coin represents the ultimate treasure hunt, the possibility that financial freedom might be sitting in your change jar right now, waiting for someone with knowledge and attention to detail to recognize it. The emotional impact of discovering such a coin would be overwhelming. Imagine the moment you realize that the penny you almost spent at a vending machine is actually worth more than most lottery jackpots, more than most people earn in their entire lifetimes. Imagine the validation of your curiosity, your decision to learn about coins, your choice to examine your change carefully instead of dismissing it as insignificant. Imagine the life-changing possibilities that would open up, paying off debts, securing your family's future, pursuing dreams that previously seemed impossible, all because you took the time to look, to learn, to recognize value where others saw nothing. The 1985 Lincoln penny story is ultimately about possibility and hope, about the democratic nature of treasure hunting where anyone, regardless of background or wealth, could potentially discover something extraordinary. You don't need expensive equipment. You don't need to travel to exotic locations. You don't need insider connections. You just need knowledge, attention, and a willingness to examine what's already around you. These pennies circulated freely, passed through countless hands, and could literally be anywhere. In old piggy banks, forgotten jars, estate sales, bank rolls, even still in circulation if someone spent them without realizing their value. Every 1985 penny you encounter is worth a second look, worth careful examination, because you could be the next person to discover numismatic history. As we close this incredible journey through two of the most valuable Lincoln pennies ever discovered, remember these key takeaways. The 2006 Lincoln penny worth $12 million and the 1985 Lincoln penny worth $26 million prove beyond doubt that extraordinary value can hide in plain sight, that modern coins deserve just as much attention as ancient rarities, and that your change could contain treasures worth more than you ever imagined. Start checking your pennies today. Examine every 1985 and 2006 date you find. Invest in basic magnification tools. Learn about error types. And most importantly, never stop looking, because fortune favors those who pay attention to details that others overlook. Thank you for joining us here at Old Glory Coins, where we explore the fascinating world of numismatics and help you discover the hidden treasures that might be waiting in your own collection. Now get out there and start hunting, because your $1 million penny might be waiting for you right now.